Welcome everyone to Talking Dangerously here in the Talking Dangerously studio. EC Dangerously, J. Robert Metcalf, and we are here with the Paul Morton Cup review for SOM. We were going to do this immediately after Paul Morton Cup, but an emergency came up and we had to end up leaving right after the show. On top of that, it was hot as hell.
God, it was.
In the Chucky Dome. It was warm, but that's because it was standing room only. We were packed in the Chucky Dome. And that's a good problem to have. That's a good
Great problem to have.
The fans were comfortable because we had our fans on the fans. It was just everybody else was very warm.
Yeah, those suit jackets didn't help.
Yeah, very warm. And also because of the Paul Morton Cup predictions video. If you have not seen that, go watch it. I am the first official Talking Dangerously predictions champion.
It was rigged. It was rigged.
As we have decided to call the Talking Dangerously studios the Thunderdome. I am the Thunderdome champion. I will hold this beautiful pink belt until I decide that we're going to predict again. Nice belt, though. So we're going to go over... I'm going to be an absolute dork with the belt here.
I would prefer the word ass, but okay.
We're going to go over everything that happened at Paul Morton Cup. We've had a few days to
digest it all.
Digest it now, yeah. This happened last weekend in Chucky, Tennessee. Rob, just initial thoughts. First things first. Like, when you think of the Paul Morton Cup and everything that happened, what's the first thing that's on your mind? First thing that you want to talk about?
I mean, in all honesty, let's just say this was my first Paul Morton Cup. Being there, being involved. What a good time. What great talent we had there. I mean, there was not a bad match on the show. Everybody came to perform. Everything was excellent. But, I mean, in all honesty, the big title change where Ice Cream Truck won, that's one of the first things that just pops right in my head. And then this new faction that popped up, like, that's another really big thing. I mean, there's going to be a lot of things happening because of what happened at Paul Morton Cup.
Yeah, I mean, that's for sure. Like Rob mentioned, the East Tennessee Tag Team titles, and we're going to break down every match here in a little bit. East Tennessee Tag Team titles changed hands as Ice Cream Truck, Dump Truck, Squeaks the Clown. I tried to catch myself the first time, then it just sounded like I had puberty again. Squeaks the Clown, Dump Truck, they won the tag team titles in a handicap match. We'll go over how we got to that. And this new faction you're talking about, the Industry, consisting of Sleazy Sean Carson, Sean Cruz, Maya Ferrari, and now Sam Street. Blew people's minds.
What mine?
Yeah, we'll discuss that. If you watched Paul Morton Cup live, thank you. We are sorry that we had to deal with some technical difficulties. It was storming outside.
A lot of storm. they were pretty bad, but the people still came out. They still got a great show regardless of the weather. So
yeah, and that's the thing is, technology is a pain sometimes, and we do everything that we can to bring you the action in its entirety. But the best way to witness it is to come down to the Chucky Dome in Chucky, Tennessee. 2085 Chucky Highway.
You got it this time. We're not dumbasses. We read the notes.
Thank you, producer Kayfabe. But she's not gonna kill me this time.
This time.
I read the notes before we went live. But yeah, let's just hop in. We'll run the card top to bottom. Actually, let's start at the pre-show. Because I was in some serious pain. If you have never been hit by Draco, don't.
It looked painful. Like, I had a front row seat for it. It looked bad.
It hurt so bad. I've made it very clear. He's disrespectful. He's almost good for nothing, but he packs a punch. I'm going to attempt to not piss him off to his face anymore, but he's not here, so I'm going to absolutely run him into the ground tonight. Starting at the top of the show with Paul Morton Cup, though, we kicked off with Ricky and Kerry Morton were there.
Yeah, they were.
Hall of Famer Ricky Morton, 9-time NWA Tag Team Champion, and current NWA superstar Kerry Morton. Kerry is somebody who I have known for a long time. outside of wrestling, and is a big reason that I am even a part of the School of Morton. Ricky is a legend. They were there to hype up the 10th anniversary Paul Morton
And did
Cup.
they ever?
Yeah,
that's
they did.
a hell of a way to open the show.
They did. They got the Chucky Dome into it. Again, what a reason to come down to the Chucky Dome whenever we're there. You never know who's going to show up. Ricky and Carrie were there. I didn't find out that Ricky or Carrie were going to be there until I got there.
Yeah. They're
Until
like,
I
oh,
got
Ricky
there.
will be here in a few minutes. And everybody's like, oh, yeah,
Oh.
Ricky. I mean,
Yeah.
that's exactly what you want to see. I mean,
He was
School
there.
of Morton, so.
He was there taking pictures, talking with the fans. He's a very social guy. Love him to death. He's the reason that all of us are here. So
Yeah. Without him, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing.
Yep.
So.
they hyped up a seminar that involves EC3 and NWA Women's Champion Kenzie Page. EC3, of course, is the current NWA Heavyweight Champion, World's Heavyweight Champion. They are going to be at a seminar. I will be there for people who would like to join and get some commentary coaching in. If commentary is something that you would like to learn in this business, I'll be there as a commentary coach. Carrie, Ricky, EC3, Kenzie Page, they're going to be there as in-ring coaches. Scotty B will be working on promos, and producer's going to kill me on this. Do you have your phone?
No, I do not.
Okay, it is the last weekend in July.
We forgot the notes again. Sorry.
I read this before I came down here. The last weekend in July, both. You know what, producer? Put the notes here, right here in front of my face. When is the date for this seminar? You're not going to want to miss it. I have it in my calendar, which is upstairs. Rob has it in his phone, which is upstairs.
We are so prepared.
I was afraid I was going to go through this without having one single screw up, and here we are. Nonetheless, the date that was over our faces, there it is for the seminar. Message the SOM 505 Facebook page to secure your spot in that. Limited spaces. You're not going to want to miss it. So, on top of that, we have other stuff coming up. A huge tag team tournament. That'll be a whole Talking Dangerously in itself. But that's what Ricky and Carrie were there to hype up. You know, Ricky Morton made his name in tag team wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Kerry Morton, not only the son of a tag team legend, but he has been in some great teams himself. So keep an eye out for him. So they kicked off the show, and then we got rolling. Woo! With RT3 versus Commodore Legion in a no disqualifications match. The one thing that stands out to me in this match is Commodore Legion getting back suplexed
On that floor?
On the
my
floor.
God. I could see the pain in his eyes.
Commodore Legion. RT3 was hot coming out of the gate. RT3 looked great for this entire match. I hate Commodore Legion. We all know that. The Poison Mistress Envy was at ringside. But RT3 ran with this match. We get to the outside. Commodore's trying to get a chair from under the ring. RT3 stops him. Commodore tries for a couple shots on RT3. RT3 catches him into a back suplex. And good God, if you have ever fallen back first on a concrete floor, then you know Commodore's pain. If you've not fallen back first on a concrete floor, good for you. Because
you don't want to feel that pain.
Commodore Legion. That's gonna be one of the moments when I look back at the end of the year and we do the year-end review for SOM. That's gonna be on my top 10 moments of the year, because the noise that came not only from body hitting floor but from inside of Commodore Legion.
It echoed. And I'll even say, I ran into Commodore Legion backstage. He would never admit it, but I could tell by looking at him, he was still feeling that.
Yeah, that 100% extremely replayable moment. Great moment.
It'll be on the highlight reel. I'm sure.
I loved it. But Malik and I jumped out of our chairs. That was so painful to watch. Also in that match, a couple other big moments that I want to talk about. RT3, I've talked about his huge spear. I think that he has proven how deadly that spear actually is, and he went for it pretty early, not long after that, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But because, and we talked about on the predictions, that Envy might be a factor in this,
Yep.
she slid a cookie sheet into the ring, to which Commodore Legion managed to get up. RT3 speared it, did damage to RT3's shoulder.
I've never felt bad for a cookie sheet till that moment.
Oh, we're gonna feel a little worse about the cookie sheet later on. The cookie sheet worked the card top to bottom.
It did. It did.
Yeah, I will get to when I start feeling bad for the cookie sheet. But yeah, RT3 could have 100% put the match away pretty quickly in that. Ultimately, did win the match with a spear. Not only that, finally got to give Envy a taste of the baby powder when Envy tried to get in the ring. Tried to get in the ring, caught the baby powder from Envy, smacked the hand with the powder up in her face. The best part of that, Malik and I were, I don't know if you could see it where you were sitting, Malik and I were doing commentary on it, and there's a wide shot of the ring, and where she fell, there's a huge white handprint dead center of the ring. For the rest of the match, there's an Envy-sized handprint in the dead center of the ring, and it was very
Envy
funny.
left her mark on that match.
But RT3 won. That is where I got my first point in the predictions battle. In case anybody forgot.
That's right. I messed up that one. I thought Commodore was going to cheat his way in.
Oh, he came so close.
He did come close. It was a very hard contested match, for sure.
He came so close in winning that one. Especially when he got the cookie sheet up. It's not easy to counter the spear. There's a lot of different ways that... you can counter the spear, but ultimately RT3 very rarely will fall for anything. However, the cookie sheet, I'll give Commodore that.
Yeah.
Good on him for thinking of it.
Well, was it him or was it Envy, though?
Okay, well, let's think. Let's think for just a second. The fact that there was a cookie sheet placed right there, I have to think that this is Commodore Legion's mastermind.
See, I'm beginning to think Legion's the bronze and Envy's the brains.
You know what? Maybe. Well, speaking of brains, Commodore Legion put that weirdo mask that he's got. He's got a name for it, like Mike or Mitch or Muriel or something. I know for a fact as soon as this goes live, Commodore Legion's going to message me, yelling at me.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
And this is what its name is, you fool! You fool! You want a piece of Commodore Legion? You better go get your name right. Oh man, I am horrified to get back to SOM after doing that. But good on RT3.
Yep.
And this is not going to be the last time that we talk about RT3 tonight.
I mean, I even said in my interview with him that I'll try to catch up with him later in the evening. I didn't know that I really would be catching up with him as quick as I did.
Yeah, very much so. After that, our second match of the night, I do believe was a 30-minute Iron Man match.
This is where the technical difficulties started.
Yeah, this is where the storm really kicked in. Well, again, we apologize for that, but it was still a great match. 30 minutes. 30 minutes for both Shoop and Roosevelt to figure out who trains Hada
and Smada.
Because Shoop was victorious in this one, somebody that neither of us predicted.
Picked. That is correct.
Neither of us picked for Shoop to come out with the victory in this one. Coming out with the victory with a score of 5-3. That was a spread of 2 points. I said 4-2. You said 6-3. Spread of 2 points goes in my favor. 2 points!
I'm going to have to hear about this the entire episode, y'all.
2 points in the predictions for me. But yeah, it all started about 60 seconds into the match when Shoop pulled his best, I don't know any famous soccer players, straight up booted Roosevelt between the legs. I was trying to make a comparison. But yeah, low blow, and then right after that, maybe 15 seconds, hits that big flipping neck breaker and picked up a fall for himself. So we were tied 1-1 2 minutes into the match. And then from there, Roosevelt just had to play catch up the whole time. The whole match, 30 minutes. It got to the point to where Shoop was constantly running around in hopes of just playing keep away. 2 of Shoop's victories came by countout. 2 of the 5 points were by countout. And that's, you got to talk to Shoop afterwards, where we first heard Shoop say, I not only train harder, I train smarter. Yeah. And one thing that Malik found interesting in that match was the lack of Max Abel. There was not any Max Abel interference. And we started with these two coming out and brawling to the ring. We started with Roosevelt and Shoop just brawling to the ring. They couldn't wait to get their hands on each other, and we got no Max Abel interference for 30 minutes, which I would call a miracle in Shoop matches.
Yeah. Fair.
Roosevelt landed some beautiful PYTs, protect your teeth.
And I could hear you every time that he said that he did it. You'd hear, protect your teeth, PYT! You get so excited.
It's a move that can be hit out of nowhere. It can be hit in any situation. You can be out to dinner with sleazy Sean Carson and all of a sudden whack him in the face with PYT and he never sees it coming. If you're wondering why I'm bringing that up, it's because I ate dinner with Sean Carson last week, and he stuck me with the bill. So, protect your teeth, Carson. But anyway, I love Roosevelt, and that was... Roosevelt losing was not something that I had on my bingo card. Roosevelt losing by a comfortable spread of 2 falls was even further in left field for me.
I'll say this. I'm not sure I'll doubt Shoop again. For one, did it once, got it wrong. Like, that would have changed a lot of things if I would have picked Shoop. And I'll be honest, when I interviewed him, he scared me.
He's a big guy when you're up next to him. I had to have him on commentary with me about a month or so ago.
Shoop, if you're listening, I'm on your side now, bud.
Shoop's a huge guy. You don't realize how big he is till you stand next to him. But yeah, a big turning point in the match. Roosevelt hit PYT on Shoop, and Shoop fell through the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
Malik tried to say it was ring awareness, and I tried to say that it was gravity. Like, it's Newton's laws of motion.
Gravitational awareness.
Yeah, it's Newton's laws of motion. It's why I want to get this Robostrator. We're working on getting the Robostrator 5000, where we can put a video up, and Rob can draw on it. But the Newton's laws of motion say an object in motion will stay in motion, and Roosevelt's hand was in motion. And that motion continued through Shoop's body as he fell backwards through the ropes. So I don't know if it was ring awareness or just pure dumb luck, to quote Professor McGonagall. But anyway, Shoop was victorious in a phenomenal match. Third match, and this is where things got interesting. The third match of the night was for the Hybrid Championship.
And who got that prediction correct?
Who got that prediction correct? Yeah, this is a point for Rob. He picked Sleazy Sean Carson to retain the championship. And you want to know who's been blowing up my phone telling me that I can shove it and that Rob deserves all the thanks in the world for picking that? Sean Carson. Sean Carson has not left me alone. Sean Carson has not left me alone since Paul Morton Cup. It's been almost a week now, and Sean has been blowing up my phone saying, "Tell Rob I said thank you." Tell Rob. Probably wearing his 3-piece sunglasses, sitting on his couch shirtless doing this. Yeah, who's a champion now?
But you know what matters? He's sitting there and he's doing it with a belt.
He is. But you want to know who he should thank? You want to know who should get points for really winning that match? Me. me, I should get the points because Sleazy Sean did not win that match by himself. Sam Street was poked in the chest, and it's one thing, and people want to say that there's this huge moment in history. There's this huge moment in wrestling history where a finger poke of doom resulted in this huge attack, this huge win. Sam took the poke and then just sat on her ass and laid down. Talk about flipping the middle finger, flipping 2 middle fingers to the crowd. Let Sleazy Sean pin her. Sean Carson retains the Hybrid Championship. And then we find out that Sam was in on it all along. She was in on it with Maya Ferrari. She was in on it with the sleazeball. They go to talk to you, and who comes out? Then Mr. Clean.
Yep.
Sean Cruz is now a part of the industry. And then they want to fight. They get in the ring. And they're like, we're not leaving until somebody comes out here and stops us. Well, I was really hoping Big Willie would decide that was...
I'm just glad it wasn't me this time.
Yeah, you know what? Because Rob, he ran out. You ran out during the Hunter Wolf thing. You learned your lesson. Because after what I saw them do to Jared Anderson, Josh Anderson, and Zach Thomas. Josh Anderson, if you're listening, I apologize. You got the crap beat out of you, and for your safety, I was trying to change your name. Because I thought they were going to kill those poor guys. Zach Thomas, Josh Anderson got the life beat out of them. Of course, Sean Cruz, Sleazy Sean Carson, laying them out with a beautiful flatliner bulldog.
That's how I describe it.
I mean, that's ultimately what the move is. If you know Cosmo and Nation McKinley, that is shock treatment right there. But the industry made their mark.
They definitely made their mark. I'll say this. The members that are in the industry right now, I think this is going to be a faction that could possibly change the entire landscape of all SOM. There's some really talented people in it. You throw Sam Street, Sleazy Sean in there, they could take over this whole company. Whether you like it or not, they could.
Well, I feel very, very strange about this, because obviously this weekend, 1 week after Paul Morton Cup, I will be going with SOM to defend the honor of SOM against Ring Rust Carolina, as I like to call them, and I have to have Sleazy Sean's back, but Sean Ferrari, and this is even to you too, Sean Cruz. I won't say too much about Sam. I love Sam. She's just confused. But this is to the members of the industry. I have your back in this one situation, because this is like when an older sibling and a younger sibling are picking on each other, and then somebody comes up
and messes with the other sibling.
It's like, hey, that's my sibling. Only I can beat them up.
Wait, are you saying you could beat up the industry? Is that what I just heard come out of your mouth?
So the next match was a blindfold match.
No, I am not talking about this match. I don't want to talk about this match. This is what lost me the championship, because Evan Golden decided to cheat. You know how many...
Oh, it's almost like I warned you. It's almost like I told you that Evan Golden was going to cheat in this match. Now, albeit I did not think that Michael Gabriel would be out there, but Malik and I did look at the rules as the blindfold match was going on. If you don't know where we are, the next match on the card was a blindfold match between Amp Dominic and Evan Golden for Amp's East Tennessee Championship. Malik and I looked at the rules. There is nothing in the rules of a blindfold match that says you cannot have a second out there yelling directions at you, which ultimately makes the blindfold match much easier. Which is what Brother Michael Gabriel decided to do, even though he was mocking Amp using the blind stick. Poor Amp had to be drug out by Zero.
Yes. I feel bad for my god of the Milky Way galaxy.
Amp was on the struggle bus, making his way out. But Evan Golden, more than 5 times, pulled down the blindfold.
Or pulled up. Up or down.
Up or down.
It went both ways.
One point he got so sweaty it fell off itself. But
I mean, if you were something, would you want to stay on Evan Golden's face? I wouldn't.
Oh, I don't like that in the Amp Dominic conversation.
Exactly.
But anyway, the end of that match. Go watch that. That one in particular, it was not my favorite match of the night, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and it was very weird.
You want to know my favorite part of that entire match? Was watching how dumb Evan Golden was calling for the afterburner and doing it to nothing. To absolutely nothing.
Evan Golden tried to hit the afterburner on Amp Dominic like 5 times and missing each time.
Afterburner! And nothing.
Well, that's one of those moments when screaming what you're about to do doesn't play in your favor. Malik and I talk about this all the time, where Evan yells afterburner, and we're like, is this a good idea? Most of the time, yes. In a blindfold match, when the rest of your senses are heightened, and your opponent yells afterburner, you just fall backwards and run for a corner, so Evan whiffs.
See, this is the equivalent of you sitting at the table and just screaming commentary at everybody. That's exactly what Golden did in this match.
Commentary!
But I'll tell you what, because I even made sure I brought a pop for this one, how I feel about this match, because Scotty B said I'm not allowed to say that word. This is what it was. It's poop emoji.
Yeah, he's pretty mad about this one, because this was Rob's double points match in our predictions. And it was 2-1 before this. And because you picked Amp Dominic and you doubled up on it, I picked Evan Golden, it's now 3-1. And you were fighting yourself out of a hole the rest of the night.
Amp, I still believe in you. You will get it back, brother. I promise. Because Evan Golden can... And speaking, one more thing with Evan Golden. Because I'm quite pissed off about this myself.
Okay.
I tried to interview Evan Golden after this match. What's he do? Shove me out of the way and tells me he does not have time. I promise you, Evan, if you would have talked to me, there would have been more views on this match when it gets posted afterwards. There'll be more views on this review than anything you'll do the whole time. So, Evan, if you really want the views, I still need that interview. That's right. I called out Evan because I'm pissed off about it. I don't like people walking away from me.
Well, the next match... Evan cheated to win. I mean, I forgot to say that.
Yeah,
Evan cheated
did.
to win.
Absolutely.
Used the blind stick on Amp Dominic, and I didn't realize that thing was made out of metal until he threw it out of the ring, and I heard it hit the concrete. So I don't blame Amp Dominic for taking that one and not being able to kick out. That looked like it hurt. Right after this, Evan Golden was in action again, as if we couldn't get enough of him.
Yay!
It was tag team title time.
This one got a little weird.
Yeah, the East Tennessee Tag Team Championship. And this was weird because on the pre-show, we were told that Casey Kazana could not be at Paul Morton Cup.
Well, did he even, post a promo saying that he wasn't going to be there?
Yeah, he was talking, saying, Evan and Michael Gabriel are going to be defending the tag team titles, that they're going to bring it home for him. And all of a sudden, right before the match is about to start, Gen 3 Express, the champions, taking on the Challengers Ice Cream Truck. Evan and Michael Gabriel revealed that they had been examining the Express Clause, the Freebird rule, as the greater wrestling community knows it. And it says that any combination of the champions can defend the titles. But because of semantics... It doesn't specifically say that it has to be a combination of 2.
Just any combination?
Any combination. So it became a combination of 3, and White Lightning Casey Kazana was there. We said in the predictions the only chance that Gen 3 Express had of beating Ice Cream Truck was if Casey Kazana was wrestling. So now, not only did Gen 3 Express have Casey Kazana, not only did they have the opportunity and the secret weapon that could beat Ice Cream Truck, it was now 3-on-2. Although with the size of Squeaks the Clown and Dump Truck, it was almost 3-on-3.
Yeah.
And it started off hot. Gen 3 Express, right out of the gate, just showing the numbers advantage over Ice Cream Truck. Casey Kazana flew.
Yeah.
We thought he was going to, have to be on a flight somewhere else. Nope, dude took the flight in the Chucky Dome. That's a big boy.
Yeah, that was a lot of boy flying through the air.
Casey Kazana is, he's got a big mouth on him, but you know what? When it comes to the members of Gen 3 Express,
he's at least the one that can back it up.
he can back it up. And if that came flying at me, I'd give up. I'd give up. I'd retire from wrestling, and that's because I'd be in a casket underground.
Yeah.
Casey Kazana flying over the top rope. It wasn't on my SOM bingo card, but maybe we should start having those.
Yeah. What do you do? We start bingo cards. Bingo cards. Okay.
Start selling Chucky Dome bingo cards. You come in and you get a free space. You got some. If you fill out bingo, then I don't know. I'll give you an EC Dangerously photo. Signed. That's what we need. But yeah, Casey Kazana, that was the highlight of that match for me, with the exception of the end.
Of the end. I was starting to say, if you said
This-
ice cream sandwich in the aftermath of that was not the highlight.
This was match of the night for me. I was so excited to the point to where when I jumped up at commentary at the end of it, Malik, my headset cord had gotten wrapped around Malik's foot, and the headset flew off of me when I jumped up. Aside from that, yeah, Casey Kazana hitting the air. That's another one for
that's for the highlight reel of the year right there, because that was an impressive feat.
Yeah, when we do our review, we'll be talking about some great things from this show. The Commodore back suplex is one, and Casey Kazana cashing in those frequent flyer miles is another.
Yeah.
At the end of the match, a little miscommunication from Gen 3 Express. I believe it was Brother Michael Gabriel had the referee distracted. Casey Kazana proving my point that he is the strongest member of G3E. Had a full Nelson in on Squeaks the Clown. And Evan Golden had that newly won East Tennessee Championship. Went to swing on Squeaks. Squeaks breaks the Nelson. Title across the head of Kazana. And then it was ball game from there. Tag in Dump Truck. Ice cream sandwich. Evan Golden. This is the most interesting part of this to me. Evan Golden, the one guy who had the opportunity to step away and let Brother Michael Gabriel and Casey Kazana defend the tag team titles. That's the combination that won those belts. The guy who had already wrestled once tonight. The guy who had the bright idea of making this a handicap match and not letting the two fresh guys defend the titles was the one who lost the belts for Gen 3 Express. If that didn't, that should make up for him not wanting to talk to you at the end.
A little bit, it did. I'm not gonna lie. You can see the grin on my face. I was enjoying it.
I mean, the Chucky Dome exploded for G3E winning those titles.
No, ICT.
ICT.
Wow. Whew. Did you hear that, ice cream truck? EC's already trying to take it away from you.
Hey. I'm still in the mindset of Casey Kazana flying through the air. ICT, Ice Cream Truck, wins the tag team titles. God, the producer. Okay, so our producer, she watches this and edits it after we're done with it. She is going to blow my phone up and let me know that I totally screwed up the winner of that match.
You did. But in all honesty, with the end of that match,
It was nuts. It was nuts.
it was nuts.
Dump trucks crying.
The emotions were so high all across the board. The crowd's loving it. You all are loving it at commentary. Like you said, dump trucks in the ring crying. I mean, everybody was just so excited to finally see them get their...
Mama Cream's beside me crying.
She cried all night after that.
Yeah, she was crying the whole time. You got to have an emotional interview with those guys. Dump truck saying he's been fighting for 12 years, longer than SOM's even been around, to Squeaks the Clown's point. But yeah, they finally won the East Tennessee Tag Team Championships. In the ring, after that interview, it looked like we were going to get a showdown between Casey Kazana and Evan Golden. Brother Michael Gabriel playing Peacekeeper. G3E looks like they're okay for now. Although I would have paid good money to watch Casey knock the snot out of Evan.
I mean, it's just a matter of time, I think. Like, if they don't get their differences figured out after that, they might just implode. They might be strong enough to stay together, but they might just implode too. Because it's very obvious there was, with the miscommunication and everything, there's something going on there. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah. Most definitely. After that, we went down to the dungeon. And
I'm so glad I was not down there.
Yeah, So, down in the dungeon, we didn't know if Ryan Mantis was going to be there. We had not heard from Mantis. The last I had heard before the pre-show even started was that Mantis was still in the hospital, and nobody had heard anything from then. Right before we did our predictions on the pre-show, Mantis wasn't in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because we found out that Ryan Mantis had been in the dungeon. We later would learn that Ryan Mantis has been in the dungeon for a while now. We were under the impression Mantis was in the hospital, but no, he's been living in the dungeon at SOM. I don't want to go down there to sweep. I'm sure not sleeping down there, but Ryan Mantis is a different kind of crazy. And poor Willie had to ref it. I'll tell you right now, I was horrified for what was going on. Light tubes were breaking. These guys were getting thrown into boards that I know have rusty nails coming out of them. But Willie popping his head in a door and going, "Come on, guys, get out!" and hearing the carnage going on behind the door and somebody telling Willie to go in and Willie going, Yeah, Willie is all of us at this point. The brawl broke out by, into the golf cart. We saw a toilet. Lots of crazy things. The throne, Ryan Mantis got thrown into the throne absolutely shattering. And then we hit the camera. So Mantis and Hunter are brawling, and the cameraman goes down. Malik and I cannot get in touch with the cameraman with anything going on, and in our headsets we hear, "We're trying to get the feed, go to the Rumble." Okay, so we're going to go to the Rumble because we don't know what's going on, and I assure you that nobody in production is wanting to go downstairs and find out what's going on. I wouldn't feel safe either. So, Paul Morton Cup Rumble.
I was wrong. Terrible Terry did not win.
I was wrong. El Scorpio did not win. But RT3 entered number 1 and went coast to coast. The entire thing, and I'll give him this. James Anthony, former SOM champion James Anthony, my current number 1 follower on social media, who has had an opinion about everything I have to say, made his return to SOM. He entered number 2, the final 2 in that match. RG3 and James Anthony, both men went exactly 50 minutes, bell to bell, for RT3 to win the Paul Morton Cup. And seeing James Anthony take a tumble over that top rope and hit the ground,
But even when they hit that rope, I wasn't sure who was going over.
Well, so this is the thing too. We got to the final two. RT3, James Anthony. James Anthony, he thinks he scared me when he showed up. He did not scare me. Listen, I was dehydrated because it was hot. I thought I heard somebody offer me water. And I turned, and when I turned, James Anthony happened to be right beside me. I pulled a muscle in my back because I was dehydrated and fell into Malik's lap. At that point, James Anthony happened to be standing on my shoelace, and I couldn't sit up properly. I was not afraid of James Anthony. Never have been, never will be. When we come to RWC and Ring Wars Carolina, Lumberton, June 1st, I assure you, I will not be, nor will I ever be, afraid of James Anthony. It was an unfortunate situation. He was standing on my shoelace. But the final moments, so happy. Because, for whatever reason, James Anthony wanted to focus on, he had something to say to me. And he looks me dead in the eyes and he says, "This is for you." And he goes to throw RT3, and RT3 turns and reverses the momentum and sends James Anthony flying like Peter Pan into the front row of the Chucky Dome. And that was so glorious. But also seeing RT3 with the trophy, it was fantastic. Yeah, I was excited. One, I was nervous that he wasn't going to be able to run the distance because he'd already competed once.
Right.
But RT3, somebody who had done pretty much everything at SOM aside from win this Paul Morton Cup, finally winning the trophy. That was fantastic. What did you think of the Rumble?
I mean, the Rumble was great. What was it? 36 different superstars showed up for that match.
36. One of which was Bronson Garrett. And I lost my mind.
But speaking of surprise entrants, let's go back to the match right before the dungeon match when Hunter and Mantis just show up.
Yes, I believe. I don't have the notes directly in front of me.
Imagine that.
Yeah, sorry. She's gonna put some kind of sarcastic comment on the screen. But I believe that it was Ryan Mantis was supposed to be number 10. I believe he drew number 10. And Hunter Wolf drew number 11. Well, I think another entrant had already come in at that point or was about to come in. Hunter and Mantis make their way up from the dungeon, fighting through the crowd.
See, I'm wondering, because myself, I know where the entrance to the dungeon is. I really hope nobody was in line at concessions, because it's kind of back toward concessions where you go down to the dungeon.
I have no clue.
And I don't want to see anybody get hit with one of them big boots or anything just standing there trying to get a hot dog.
Well, considering I have not heard anything about lawsuits or spilled ketchup, I would assume that everybody's eyes were locked in on this Rumble.
As they should have been. They
came brawling around through the crowd, got into the ring. Hunter Wolf eliminates Ryan Mantis. And the shape that Mantis was in the dungeon, I'm surprised he was even fighting coming up out of it. But Hunter eliminates Mantis, eliminates himself. So Hunter goes out next after Mantis. And then they start brawling to the back and fall. If you've been to the Chucky Dome, you've seen any of our shows, you see our beautiful light rig that's at the back of our entranceway. Bam! Right into it. Guess who's got to fix that? I walk back there and Scotty, after the show, Scotty B's looking at it and he goes, "What are you going to do about it?" And I'm like, "What do you mean, what am I going to do about it?" So, thanks, Hunter Mantis. We'll send you the bill. Let's talk about if we're talking about the Rumble. Roosevelt eliminated 8 people in that Rumble. 8 people is ridiculous.
Roosevelt.
One of which is Squeaks the Clown. When he lifted
on his shoulders, just
it to the got milk people. I know Roosevelt was drinking milk in the back. I know who you need to hire. Because that was impressive.
Very impressive.
Squeaks the Clown weighs like, I believe he's billed at 800 popsicles and a Big Mac. That go back and rewatch it. I've watched that clip probably more than anything that I've watched over and over at the Paul Morton Cup. Roosevelt lifting Squeaks the Clown onto his shoulders with ease. It's like me putting a banana on my shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And then tossing him out was ridiculous. I believe Squeaks entered pretty early as well, and this was deep into the match. So good on the longevity of Squeaks for not only winning the tag titles, but also going as long as he did in the Rumble. But yeah, Roosevelt was just on fire. I do believe that it was James Anthony that ended up eliminating Roosevelt. Actually, it was, because I remember being very upset about it, because I love Roosevelt. You want to know who I don't like? James Anthony.
Another thing I took away from it is when we got multiple members of the industry in there able to work together.
Yeah.
And that goes back to my earlier point of how strong of a faction they are.
That's right. I mean, three members of the industry, Sleazy Sean Carson, Sam Street, and Sean Cruz were all in this match. And in fact, there was a moment, I believe we were down to the final five. And I thought Sean Cruz might actually end up winning the Paul Morton Cup. Everybody's ganging up on RT3 at this point in the final five. Sean Cruz, I'm not taking anything away from Sam Street, who ran with some of the best in that ring. I'll take everything away from Sleazy Sean Carson. I don't know. You know,
except for that title win.
Whatever. You know, he's not going to stop blowing up my phone. So, but Sean Cruz, extremely impressive in this Rumble. When it came down, I think it was the final five. Everybody's trying to eliminate RT3, and I'm trying to pinpoint the exact moment it happened. I'm trying to figure out who grabbed his foot. RT3 is everything but out at this point. He's upside down. He's hanging on. I don't even know if he's got ropes at this point. His feet are even with his head up above him. And the next thing I know is Sean Cruz goes ass over tea kettle to the outside. And I'm like, what just happened? Because this was all orchestrated. This idea to gang up on RT3 was the idea of James Anthony. James Anthony, for what it's worth, extremely smart. But that's the thing, is he's also a weasel. And he got everybody to team up on RT3. He knew that Sean Cruz had been in there about half the time that RT3 was. And the harder person to beat was going to be Sean Cruz. So Anthony, I believe it was James Anthony, hooked the leg, sent Sean Cruz out. There was your mistake! Because RT3 ended up running it from there, I believe. Pogo the Clown would go out next after that. What is it with you in Australia?
Love Australia.
Yeah, mate. The Pogo the Clown would go out next. Final three would be Casey Kazana, and then James Anthony and RT3. Kazana, I mean, he had a great showing in that match. Had a great showing.
You know who didn't? Evan Gold. You remember that elimination when he went all the way out and then he went like his head went under the ring?
Oh, you're talking back to the blindfold match.
Oh, was that in the blindfold
that
match?
Was the
I
blindfold
thought that
match.
was in the Rumble. I thought that...
No,
either way, I enjoyed it.
The Rumble, and you're like this. Sam Street eliminated Evan Gold in the Rumble.
I'm becoming more of an industry fan every minute.
No, you're talking about the blindfold match. We didn't think about that.
I was thinking in my head, I remember that being the Rumble, but...
No, it's just because Evan's head hit the floor. Go back and watch the blindfold match. I'm telling you, it is a strange match, but it's got some great moments, including Evan Golden absolutely tumbling out of that ring. But yeah, nonetheless, RT3 wins the Rumble, eliminating James Anthony, who was my second least favorite person at that show, because my first least favorite person was defending the SOM Championship in the main event in a last man standing match. That would be Draco.
So I guess we're going there now.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about that.
Do we have to?
Yeah, that little. Okay, so I've made my opinions very clear on Draco. Draco has made his handprint very clear on me. Draco is disrespectful. He is somebody who doesn't care about anybody but himself. And he is somebody who I believe does not deserve to be champion. Blade Gibson has been trying to win this championship for so long, and Draco keeps finding ways to weasel himself into a victory. Mm-hmm. Draco wants to say it's business, but that's the thing is I don't think that Draco, one, has any respect for anybody, but two, has any respect for the championship that he holds. In the match, of course, last man standing match, this is where the cookie sheet got murdered. The cookie sheet is uncookieable now. We even saw Draco hit a cutter on the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
We saw Blade Gibson get back suplexed onto the stairs. Anyway, the end of the match saw Blade Gibson's sister, Tiana. If you've been to the Chucky Dome, you've seen her sometimes selling tickets, sometimes selling concessions. And she is the sweetest human being you'll ever meet. She ran into the ring, and this is a reason why we don't want fans getting involved in this. Because it's not dangerous. It is dangerous. It's not safe. It's not safe. That's what I'm trying to say. It is very dangerous. It is not safe for untrained people to get into the ring. We are all trained professionals. Anybody that steps in those ropes, we know what we're doing. And Tiana was genuinely worried about the health of Blade Gibson, and Draco attacked her. And that should tell you everything that you need to know about him. There is not a compassionate bone in his body. There is not an ounce of respect in him. He is somebody who, and I know for a fact, I believe it was referee Joe, whoever the referee in that match was trying to tell him to lay off of Tiana. But when you tell Draco something, he doesn't listen.
Mm-mm.
That's the problem.
Opposite every time.
He will do the opposite of what he's told, and that's exactly what he did. He told Blade Gibson, he said, stay down, or she's going to get the beating. I later found out during the press conference that he threatened Tiana again if Blade decided to go back after the championship. And I wish nothing but the worst for what's coming to Draco. RT3 in winning the Paul Morton Cup can face any champion that he wants. As much as I'd like to see him spear Sean Carson out of his boots and spear Sean Carson into paying a bill for once in his life, I would much rather see RT3 absolutely destroy Draco. I know Draco's been there for forever, and if RT3 could absolutely level him and send Draco packing, my man, I'll vote for you for president. But that was an absolutely disgusting thing that happened to Tiana. Tiana is okay. I've talked to her since then. But, yeah, Draco victorious and last man standing. Not the ending you wanted.
But I mean, and I even picked Draco, but that's not how I wanted it to go down. And I know that I didn't necessarily agree with you before when you said Draco was being a coward, all this. That was the most coward thing he could have absolutely done. It's completely despicable. I'll be honest, if I was Scotty B, I'd strip him of the title. Be like, that's not who we need representing our brand. That's not what anybody here is all about. But that's our champion right now. Until somebody can take it down, we're just going to have to deal with it.
He's vile, and I know that everyone has an opinion about it, so let us hear your opinions in the comment section. How do you feel about Draco attacking Tiana? Yes, she probably, for her safety, should not have gotten involved in that match. But Draco should have let security handle it. And Draco is, of course, still the SOM champion for now. And speaking of champions for now, let's not forget who the Thunderdome champion is here in the Talking Dangerously Thunderdome. Love to see it.
Champion and poop.
So, ladies and gentlemen, This has been our review of the Paul Morton Cup. It was a phenomenal show. Don't forget, you can sign up to become a member here on YouTube. That gets you all the premium live events. Gets your Revolution Uprising early. And we will be having some other content coming your way very, very soon. But for now, Thunderdome champion, EC Dangerously, J. Robert Metcalf. Thank you guys for watching the Paul Morton Cup review.